Feeling disconnected from God, you know that you need more of Him in your life, but you're unsure how to incorporate Him into it? Don't worry, I got you covered. What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Christina J, here to empower you. And in today's video, I'm giving you 10 simple but effective ways to incorporate God into your life. But y'all know the drill. I can't get into it without you joining the squad. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more empowering content. Okay, now we can get into it. The first thing I do is I start my day with God. I typically wake up around 5 a.m. and the first hour of my day is dedicated to God. The reason I do this is because oftentimes people make the mistake of trying to fit God around their schedule instead of fitting their schedule around God. When you create that time and space for God, you're more likely to follow through with it. But also doing it in the morning, you're free from distractions. No one is calling you, texting you, asking you, did you do this? What time are you going to be here? And oh, can you bring my jacket? I forgot it at the house. Whereas when you do it later in the day, something can come up and it will hinder you from spending time with God because you had that commitment. So it pushes it off, and things that get put off sometimes don't get done. I also recommend you start your day with Him because it's a great way to start your day. I promise your days, whether good or bad, will be better when you start your day with God. Another thing I do is I invite God into my life. So when it comes to things that I wish I can control, I take those things to God and lay them at His feet and say, Lord, I'm struggling with control, but although I don't know what the future holds, I know who holds my future, and that is you. So therefore, I'm leaving this situation in your hands, knowing that you are going to bust a move in my favor. You will continue to show up and show out in my life. I wait in expectation if things aren't coming as quickly as I want them to. I also invite Him into my situation and say, Lord, I don't know how to handle this situation, so Lord, handle it for me. Teach me what to do. Help. Give me the words to say. Walk with me. Talk with me. I tell Lord, I'm bringing you with me into the situation. And although God is omnipresent, so He's always there, regardless on if I invite Him into my situation or not, it's something about me declaring it and saying, Lord, I'm taking you with me as I go into this uncomfortable situation, as I walk into these rooms where I feel that I don't belong, but I know that you brought me here, which means that I do belong here. So even if I feel that I don't, I'm taking you with me to give me that confidence, to give me the boldness to step out on faith and do what it is you have called me to do in that room, and to walk in that room like you sent me there. I tell God all the time, I pray that you'll put your hands on me, but also I want your hand all in my life. I want you to be all up in my business. Please correct me when I'm wrong. Order my steps to where I need to go in order to fulfill what it is that you have for me today or for my future, even if I don't like it. Give me the strength to overcome it and do it anyway. Help me to deny my flesh and walk in your truth to do those things. If it's goals that I have, I say, Lord, this is what I want to do. This is where I see myself in 5 years, but I want to consult you first. Is this good for me? Are there things in me that I need to address before I get there so I don't fumble the bag when it's time for me to receive it? Because I don't want anything premature. So if there's something that I need to work on within myself, make it known and help me to work on that so I am prepared for my next season. Another thing I do is I commit to going to church every Sunday. Of course, there are some Sundays that I miss, but I create a habit of going to church. I think it's important, whether you're a part of Bedside Baptist or you go to church in person, to make a habit of going to church, being in fellowship with other believers, being in the presence of God with other people, to experience His Spirit and His presence. I think it's important that you not only go to church to check a box, but go to a church where you feel spiritually fed. When I leave church, it makes me want to go deeper in my relationship with God. It challenges me in my faith to take it to that next level. I'm excited every single time I wake up in the morning on Sunday. I'm like, ooh, I get to go to church today. I want to know what word the Lord has for me today. I want to see what He's doing in other people's lives. I can't wait to fellowship and praise His name with other people, because when you're around other believers, they challenge you. And when you go to a church community, it's that fellowship that'll help you keep going, because Walking in faith is not easy. Serving God is not easy. So going to a place where other people are experiencing the same challenges and the same temptations you are, it gives me hope. Now let's talk about church hurt, because it does happen. I have not experienced this myself, but for those who have experienced it, I really encourage you to try again. Know that people who go to church, they aren't perfect. Matter of fact, they're imperfect people that serve a perfect God. So I encourage you to give them grace and give them forgiveness, just as God has given you grace and forgiveness. You may have caught them on a bad day. They may have going through things where they were hurt, and so they took it out on you. And while you didn't deserve that, I understand, but don't let that one person or that one experience turn you off from church, because there are so many churches out here who would love to love on you and make you a part of their family, and who has exactly what you are looking for. The fourth thing I do is I drive to understand. So what I mean by this is I don't just settle for reading the Bible. I challenge myself to go a step further. If I read a verse and there's a word I don't understand, then I'll go and I'll look up that word. I'll look up commentaries of what this verse means, the context of it, to really gain a deeper understanding of what it is I'm reading. Where it's like, okay, why did this person do this? Why did Job's friends talk to him the way that they did? Why did Abraham and Sarah act the way that they did? Why did Eve eat the forbidden fruit? All those things are questions you should ask as you are reading the Bible. Why? How? When? And by asking yourself these questions, it helps you to go deeper, but also understand what it is that you're reading in such a way that you can apply it to your life. And with this, say you set a goal of reading a chapter a day, right? But you read a chapter and you didn't understand it. You didn't get anything from it. Instead of me just saying, okay, well, I read the word today, so that's going to be it, even though I didn't understand something, I say, okay, I didn't really understand this chapter. Let me go ahead and break these verses down one by one. Maybe today I'm going to read verses 1 through 3. And then tomorrow I'll read verses 4 through 5. And if I've only read a chapter in that whole week, when I wanted to read a chapter a day, I'm like, okay, then I was just supposed to read that one chapter. But I'd rather you read 3 verses and understand something than read a whole chapter of the Bible and don't understand anything at all. When it comes to reading the Bible, it's always quality over quantity. And before you read your Bible, I encourage you to pray and just say, Lord, help me to learn what it is you want me to learn today. Help me to understand your word so I can understand you better and the things that you want me to know. Another thing I do to incorporate God into my life is I make prayer a default. When I was a baby Christian, whenever I was overwhelmed with emotions, whether it was overwhelming anger, overwhelming stress, overwhelming anxiety, I made it a habit of venting to anyone who would listen. Now that I'm more mature in my faith, my first response is always to go to God first. I say, Lord, I'm very stressed. There's a lot of things on my plate and I don't know how to get it done. And so I'm coming to you and asking you to help me prioritize what are the most important things I need to get done today that'll relieve the most stress from me. Or Lord, I'm feeling very angry. I don't know how to get through this situation. And it's been something that I've been grieving or dealing with for the past 6 months and I'm still not over it. But Lord, I thank you for hearing my prayers. I thank you for always being there for me and listening to me. And this is how I'm feeling today. Because when they say prayer changes things, honey, they wasn't lying, okay? Because prayer doesn't not only change your situation, but it changes the person who prays. The more you pray about someone or something or a certain situation or something that you're struggling with, I promise you, you'll start to change. In my quiet time, I also set aside space to sit in silence for God to just talk to me. Right now, I set aside 10 minutes where I literally sit in silence. I invite God in. I say, Lord, this is the 10 minutes that I have set aside for you. If there's something that I missed during my Bible study, speak to me what it is that you want me to know. If there's something that I prayed about that I told you that I was stressed about or worried about, if there's a word of encouragement that you want to give me or anything that you want to say to me, really, I'm giving you this space. And there might be some days where he doesn't say anything to me, and that's okay because God is not limited in how he speaks to us. But there are some days where I hear him whispering to me and he'll give me a word and And it's a word that I needed, and it's a word that I repeat to myself throughout that day whenever I think about a situation that word relates to. Thank you all so much for watching. May God bless you. Bye.